Hello everyone, I Goinda Gahne, lecturer in mining department at Chhattisgarh Swami Vivekanand Technical University, Bhilai. Today I will explain the lecture number 4. The topic of lecture number 4 is sap sinking method. First, I will discuss the content of sap sinking method. Following are the content of sap sinking method. First one is introduction of sap sinking, its purpose, factor for selection of sap sinking, shape and size of sap centering, temporary support, permanent support and various methods, walling platforms, lighting in shaft, drilling, blasting and mucking process, sinking rider, special type of shaft sinking, deepening and widening of shaft. So, first shaft sinking, in which I will explain the shaft. A shaft is a vertical or inclined opening from surface for the conveyance of man, material, hosting ore, pumping water and providing ventilation. Next, sinking. The work in excavating a shaft means shaft sinking. It may be described as an excavation of vertical or inclined opening from surface for conveyance of man, material, ventilation, pumping water in addition to hosting ore and waste rock. It is also called shaft construction or shaft mining. It is a part of mine development. After the complete development, it is used for production of ore purpose and dewatering of mine sumps. Next is purpose of shaft sinking. So, the purpose of shaft sinking is to transport man and material to and from underground workings, for hosting ore and waste from underground, to serve as intake and return airways for the mine ventilation, to access body. These shafts are used in applications such as hydroelectric project, water supply, waste, water shaft and tunnel project. Drill shaft machine is used in such process, where it consists of special type of units that are used in both stable and unstable. Next is factor governing selection of shaft position. So, first factor is surface consideration. In the surface consideration, following points to be considered. First one is configuration of the surface and land available. Second one is convenience of railway. Third one is convenience of roadways. Fourth, water supply. Fifth, surface drainage. Sixth, landslides. Then running sand. Other consideration is underground consideration. In the underground consideration, following point to be covered. First one is presence of fault. Second one is direction and amount of deep. Third is direction of underground transport. Fourth one is ventilation. Then general consideration. Nowadays, however, if the seams are fairly flat, assuming other condition permit, the tendency is to fit the shaft near the center of mine property. Next point is shape of the shaft. So, the most common shape of the shaft are circular, square, rectangular and elliptical. And in colliery practice, circular shafts are almost invariably used. A circular shaft has the following advantages. First one is it is the strongest form to resist heavy rock and water pressure. Second one is for a given cross section area is present the least resistance to the passage of air. Third one is it is the best suited to sinking under difficult condition and to the insertion of a watertight lining. Next is it is suitable for greater depth. Next, it can be sunk quicker than a rectangular shaft. The other point is size of a shaft. The size of the shaft depends on the following factors. First factor is the purpose of the shaft, whether for raising coal or man or pumping water or ventilation or stowing, etc., or combination of this. Second is the desired output from the mine and the type of winning by the deputation of skip. Its larger output than would be possible with cage winding for a given shaft section, the degree of mechanization of the mine required. The most economical size of a shaft is determined by carefully consideration. All of the cost involved, including capital costs of sinking and equipment depreciation and interest charges and running costs for power and maintenance. The next topic is a shaft centering. Shaft centering is a process to check the center of shaft. So, the precise position of the shaft center may be fixed by lining out to cross line with the winding engine at right angle thereto, being their points intersection being the shaft station. Marks the form by concrete pillars 0.6 meter square and 1 meter deep, having iron bolt inserted into each pillar with center mark as shown in the figure. The exact center of the shaft may be found at any time by cross stringing for this pillar. Shaft center and inclination, like vertical in the case of vertical shaft, are checked from time to time by the use of centering device. The centering apparatus consists of a center pulley frame running in a guide rail, a center pulley, then a plumb wire reel and plumb bob. Apparatus is in use the accurate positioning of the rack and pinion device for sliding the frame into the shaft. Center pulley is insured with the stop block providing for the purpose. Next is a temporary support in a shaft. Temporary support are used for to preventing for collapsing of shaft sides, in which a heavy wooden frame or a frame of steel frame for suspending temporary support girder is built across the shaft top, from which the temporary support is suspended. Temporary support to the shaft side may be done by a system of steel curbs or skeleton rings which have behind them a close lining of wooden backing, deal or steel plates. The system of wooden backing deals is shown in the figure. It consists of mild steel curbs or skeleton rings. The size is 100 mm into 25 mm, made in segment and 3 meter long and joined together by bolt. Laps joint forming the shape to the circumference of the shaft. The ring may also be of channel section for greater strength and joined by fish plate. Next is a permanent support. A permanent support is necessary for at least one of the following reasons. So, the first reason is to seal off the country rock from the weathering effect of air and water, and thus preventing the slabbing and flaking of the side. Second is to support jointed and broken rock. Next is to resist the static pressure of the running ground such as sand, alluvium, gravel, etc. Next is to seal off water to resist its static pressure. Then next is to prevent any damage or collapse of the shaft section due to bursting of rocks at greater depth. The permanent support are following types. First is brick walling. Brick walling is a common practice for ordinary, compact and moderate weight strata where the stresses are not high. First class well burned bricks, the size is 225 mm into 115 mm into 75 mm are commonly used. Usually the thickness of brick lining may be vary from 0.4 meter to 0.6 meter. A 150 mm thick layer of concrete is then laid down to form a perfect level bed. A walling curb or creep made of cast iron or of concrete is then set on the top of the hardened concrete. The brick walling is built up from this curb, beginning with a thicker wall at the ledge and gradually decrease to the normal thickness. To ensure vertically of the brickwork, side plumb lines like auxiliary to the main center plumb lines are suspended in the shaft. Second permanent support is monolithic concrete lining. For monolithic concrete lining, concrete in the proportion of 1:2:4, in which fresh cement, sand and coarse aggregate are includes, is suitable for dry shaft for wet shaft. Richer mixture is preferable to construct monolithic concrete lining. The hard rock from where lining is to commence is dredged and level in the same manner as for brick lining to provide a base. When erecting the lining, it is necessary to retain the weight or plastic concrete is impossible by a shattering. The first ring of shattering is carefully centered and leveled. Precautions have to be taken to prevent the water from washing the cement out of the concrete before it has time to set, and this may be done by use of CGI sheets as back hearing. Next permanent support is reinforced concrete lining. Reinforced concrete lining is costly and it is used where the high pressure have to be resisted. Concrete lining is stronger than brick walls, offer less frictional resistance to air current and can be erected rapidly. It is however difficult to repair and due to its rigidity may cracks and collapse with slight earth movement. Next permanent stopping is cast iron tubbing. A cast iron lining known as tubbing is used as a permanent watertight lining of shaft side. In case of water bearing strata containing water at high pressure, the water bearing strata may have several feeders of water at various depths, and these have to be leaked independent lengths of tubbing, each made watertight at the top and bottom. It is also used as a permanent lining where running sand is encountered during sinking. Tubbing is built up of CI rings and each such rings consists of number of flanked segments shaped to suit the curvature of the shaft. The next topic is walling platform. Construction of brick walling in a shaft is carried out from a platform known as walling platform or scaffold of stage or cradle, which is raised about 1.3 meter at a time as the walling rises. The center portion of platform or scaffold consists of two main runners of saw wood 0.3 meter square. Secured in these runners are strong cross piece leaving a center. Openings of 2 meter square for cable to pass through. The diameter of the platform is made slightly less than that of the finished shaft. The platform is suspended by two ropes, preferably locked type, which also serve as guide rope for the cable. Four sliding bolts of 75 mm into 50 mm section and sliding through strap iron are used to keep the platform steadily. When men are working on it or when it is desired to recap, the suspension ropes about 1.3 meter of walling is built up at a time and the platform is then raised to its new position. Raising and lowering of the platform are erected by a double drum winch or by two winches, especially installed at the surface. The next topic is lighting in a sinking shaft. In addition to electric cap lamps used by individual worker, a cluster of 4 to 6 bulbs, each 100 watts and 110 volts electric lamps bulbs enclosed in watertight fittings with reinforced glass is fixed at the end of an armored cable for shaft bottom illumination. Next topic is drilling in shaft sinking. In a conventional method of shaft sinking, the drilling operation done by handheld jackhammer. It is operated at the pressure of 6 kg force per centimeter square by compressed air, which is supplied from main compressor installed on surface. Generally, cone or pyramid cuts form is used. Holes are arranged in a ring form as a thumb rule. It may be stated that the number of holes in a ring is 3 times of ring diameter. Usually 2 or 3 drills work at a time in shaft. The holes are 38 mm dia and 1.2 to 1.5 meter deep. A hole after drill should be plugged with wooden plug to prevent blockage of hole by mud. This is the formula for calculating drilling holes. The formula is number of hole is equal to 2.54 capital A plus 22, where A area of shaft in square meter. The drilling ratio is a term expressed as tonnage of cubic meter of rock broken per meter of drilling. This depends the nature of the ground and may range from about 1 cubic meter in soft rock to 0.8 cubic meter or less in hard rock. The next topic is a blasting in a shaft sinking. So, explosive is placed in the holes after complete the process of drilling. Gelatinous high explosive like AZEC-Z are used in sandstone and shale. Special gelatin may be used in very hard rock. A hole 1.2 to 1.5 meter deep may require 0.6 to 0.9 kg of explosive charge. Low tension detonators are employed for blasting. The hole need to steaming as the water in each holes act as a good steaming material. Sometimes drill cuttings are utilized for more effective steaming. Blasting of inner ring is to be carried out first, and all the sorts in the are connected in series. Before blasting, equipments, light ventilation duct and all equipment are withdrawn from the shop to prevent from damage. Shots are connected to shot firing cable which is suspended from surface. Shot are fired from surface by hand operated heavy duty exploser. The next topic is disposal of the debris, also called mucking. To permit the rapid emptying of loaded cables and offered many methods by which this may be done. A journal arrangement and safety being essential. A set of flat folded door at ground level for men and material. They may also be used for handling out debris if required. The door flat when closed. Cover the shop. A second set of door about 10 meter above the ground level used for the handling of debris. These doors are inverted, V-shaped or lie at an angle of 45 with the horizontal. Like they includes roof of a house when closed. Then steel shoot at about 1 to 2 to deliver the debris to the dirt wagon running on rails at ground level. The cable is drawn up clear of the surface level. Door which are then shut off and the top doors open to flow the cable to pass through. The top set of door is then closed and the cable lower onto them and tipped. The door are heavy in structure and are operated by a system of levers, either counterbalanced or worked by compressed air. Two sets of ladder, one at each side of the door, are provided for the banksman and his assistant to enable them to reach the platform at V door level. The next topic is the sinker rider. When a walling platform is used while sinking is progress, the scaffold ropes are used as guide ropes for the cables above the point where the walling scaffold is suspended in the shaft, and appliances run on these ropes supporting the walling scaffold to guide the cable and prevent it from swinging during its ascent and descent is known as rider. Rider cone at the center of rider is so constructed that the safety hook and cable are allowed to pass through it. The purpose of rider is the chief purpose of rider is in conjunction with the ropes supporting the walling platform is to steady and guide the cable when it is above the level of the platform in the shaft. Precaution taken when rider employed. First, the center opening is the rider cone must be large enough for the detaching hook to pass through so that it may not be prevented from coming into action in the event of overwinding. Second is any possibility of sticking must be prevented by making the sleeves, the guide ropes long enough and far enough apart to ensure that they guide freely up and down. Third one is a number of rubber rings supported by clamps must be provided above the capping supporting the platform ropes to minimize shock and impact during the descent of the cable. The next topic is shaft sinking special method. First is piling method, second is Cassan method, third is freezing method and fourth is cementation method. First is piling system या piling method. This method is known as simply piling or steel piling and it's suited sinking through loose deposit or sand, mud or alluvium near the surface up to a depth of 20 meter. Interlocking steel pipes 6 meter to 10 meter long are used and they are practically watertight. Additional length may be available by welding or riveting 2 or 3 length of piles. At the surface, the piles are set up to form a ring and then they are hammered down in rotation, each member being drawn a few meters at a time by a direct acting steam piling hammer. Second one is Cassan method. Sinking drum process or open Cassan method. First one is this consists of a cylindrical well of brickwork 0.3 meter to 0.4 meter in thickness over a ring having a steel cutting shoes. The shaft is excavated and the drum sinks down gradually by its own weight. As the drum sinks down, further brickwork is added on the top of a compound sinking drum consisting of brickwork surrounded by 13 mm thick steel plates. It's sometimes used to resist uncertain tensile stresses. Concrete sinking drum also can be used. Care must be taken to see that the drum descends vertically and with this object additional weight may be placed over the drum. Next method is pneumatic Cassan method. This method is adopted when there is danger of ground falling up the shaft or where there is considerable inrush of water under a small head. Compressed air is laid into the chamber formed by means of a partition 1.8 to 2 meter above the cutting shoes. Compressed air keeps back the water and sand. An airlock is mounted on top of the partition as a passage for main material. The limit of pressure of the air is 4 kg F per centimeter beyond which person cannot work. This method cannot be used for depth more than 30 meter. These Cassan methods are commonly adopted for the construction of foundation for bridge, tall building, etc. Next method is a force drop shaft method. This is commonly adopted where the strata consists of alternate tough and loose ground and also when the drop shaft refuses to sink further due to very high skin friction. In these cases, sinking is carried out with the help of hydraulic rams which force down the cast iron drum. This method can be used for depth up to 60 meter. Next method is freezing method. This method is used when the sinking is proceeding through an unstable or fibrous strata with heavy inrush of water or sand connected with inflow of water essentially involve the formation of large block of frozen ground in the water bearing strata. The frozen block prevent the inrush of water into the shaft. The whole process can be divided into 3 operations. The first operation consists of drilling hole usually 150 mm diameter at 2.2 to 3 meter interval around the shaft from the surface or from a fore shaft. Second is inside the hole special small tube are inserted to enable the cold brine solution of calcium chloride CaCl2 to be circulated. Cold brine while circulating in the holes extract the heat from the surrounding strata, and circulation of brine is continued till a wall of ice of sufficient size is formed. Sinking and lining is carried out in the normal way after the formation of ice wall. Third operation is the third and final operation is throwing, which consists in removing the ice wall by sending hot brine through the existing holes. This method is very rarely used in India. The next special method is cementation process. This process can be used in all cases of shaft sinking, particularly in any fissure's water bearing strata except in running sand or loose ground. It can be successfully applied in sinking even when the inrush of water is heavy. Treatment of ground around the shaft is carried out to achieve one or more of the following objective. First, to stabilize the collapsing ground. Two, to reduce the inrush of groundwater. Third one is to avoid flooding to prevent sand boiling. The method consists in drilling the holes as shown in figure and then injecting slurry of water and cement under pressure through the hole till they are completely sealed up. The past injection was done at low pressure like 6 kg per centimeter, but it has been proved that high pressure of the order of 300 kg per centimeter can be used successfully. The water cement ratio can be changed according to the requirement. A process known as pre-silication, which reduces the friction of at the rock to the passage of cement, is necessary in certain type of rocks. Extra holes are drilled for the purpose and treated first with silicates of soda and then with aluminum sulfate. The hole to be treated with chemical are known as product hole, and their number is usually 3 times that of cementation holes. The next topic is deepening existing shaft. Thereafter, it is disposed of in the existing working. Next, coal winding and deepening have to be carried on simultaneously. The method shown in figure. In this case, a staple pit first sunk from the existing working rivers and a heading is driven from the staple to a point vertically under the winding shaft. This point is accurately located by a boreholes put down from the drain shaft sump and also by a careful check survey. The shaft is then driven upward for accommodated the detaching hooks, plate P and winding shoes, but a short length of ground G is left. A separate sinking engine is installed at the surface and the sinking rope is brought down near the side of the shaft, passing through a borehole and being deflected by a pair of shoes to the required center line. Next is widening a shaft. If the shaft is discussed and not required for man coal winding, the procedure is to fill the shaft to the debris and then to proceed exactly in the ordinary sinking. The filled in the debris form a safe platform and removed with the excavated material. Widening a shaft which is used for coal winding, a totally different techniques has to be adopted, in which a strong cylinder steel shield which fit inside the old shaft is used, which does not interfere with the travel cage. Sufficient around at the surface must first be excavated behind the old shaft working down to a depth of 30 meter to enable concrete wall to be erected all round the shaft. The next step is to erect a strong platform on girder at a depth of 4 meter and to widen shaft to the debris being raised by gab engine and cable. Platform is then removed and erected at a depth of 6 meters shaft being widened to this depth in a similar way. The widened shaft should be supported temporarily by steel ring being from the girder at the up and the platform removed together. All this work is necessary enable the protecting shield walking platform to be installed in the shaft. Thank you.